A lot of things have to be really, really corrected in terms of how we are hiring people.
If you are the CEO of your own company, will you hire yourself?
I cannot work in this location. I cannot work for this salary.
My own salary was about joining mostly 1100 rupees a month.
And that gives you a lot of courage, self-confidence when you can say that I have to own my choice.
The employee takes the company for granted, or the company takes the employee for granted.
It's a similar situation like a person to whom the doctor has said that you need to get admitted, you don't bargain.
How much money and time companies spend talking about frontline workers?
Do you think this also has an impact on the job market?
And if the job fits them, the best person should get the job.
Could you throw some light on some causes which have really touched your heart and you thought that you were really in the right place?
We came to Hyderabad, met some people, everybody told us, don't be stupid, don't join this industry, it is not fit for you.
I agree on one part of your thing where you are saying that a lot of things have to be really, really corrected in terms of how we are hiring people and how we can actually work on training them in a way that they become more relevant to the organization as well. But and nowadays a lot of organizations have started a lot of leadership trainings. They have programs to upskill them. But here, lot of other disadvantages is that a person is trained well, everything is invested, and now the person has got much higher salary. Some competitors are poaching. A lot of such things would still make this discouraging for employers to spend more on investing on the employees, on upskilling. So do you think upskilling is really generously done by organizations, or they still have a hesitation and they're not doing their best in terms of upskilling their own employees and investing in their leadership skills or any other skills?
I have a different view. I think in 2000, when we launched Management, which is the upskilling platform, we did a very interesting poster. The poster said, if you are the CEO of your own company, will you hire yourself? Right? That is the question. Many of us have an exaggerated view of what our skills are. And the second question we asked for was, the poster said, which is the asset which acquires all other assets? You buy a house, you buy a car, you buy a lifestyle. Who's the asset which acquires all the assets? That is you. So the question is, if I'm investing money on maintenance of a car, I'm investing money in maintenance of a house, how come I'm not spending money on maintaining myself, my own competence? Therefore, my belief is upskilling, etc., should be done by individuals of their own money. Why should companies spend money? Company pays you a salary, and in salary, they're supposed to provide you some benefits, obviously, right? Now, you are supposed to contribute something in exchange for that money and benefits. But if you want to upskill yourself, right, logically speaking, somebody will do role induction. You change your role, I'll induct you for the role. But skill development is the individual's responsibility, whichever level you are. In fact, one of the biggest mistakes corporations have done is that they wound up the performance improvement, they wound up skill development. I think individual has to do it. He's got enough money. Today's salaries are obnoxious. Even then, they want ISB, they want to go, they want compete with ISB, they want to send to Harvard. What for? You should pay from your pocket. You're making so much of money. Right? People are interested in buying the third house and fourth house and higher car, but they're not investing themselves.
It's a similar situation like a person to whom the doctor has said that you need to get admitted, you don't bargain. But till you really reach a stage where somebody else says that you have to correct your attitude, you have to get yourself counseled. He doesn't want to go to a counselor, he doesn't want to take help, upskill himself, performance wise, mindset wise, and that is one thing which is always coming secondary to all the people. They think that I'm right, I'm fine, I don't need anything on this part. So that is the reason.
The employee should work like a self-employed professional. A doctor, nobody, of course, some of the pharma companies can bribe you, but generally doctors have to spend money on learning themselves. A lawyer has to work on himself, use his own money to learn something, go to conferences, right? Somehow employees have to think like self-employed people in the company. Then obviously the attitude is, how do I skill myself, earn that position for the next higher responsibility and so on. Somehow companies have, and secondly, I think what you said is right. There is excessive emphasis on leadership, and I think it's a big movie. Actually, people who deliver performance in companies are entry-level people. And if you look how much money and time companies spend talking about frontline workforce, their happiness, what kind of job role they're doing, what kind of compensation you pay. For example, in fact, one of the articles I'm writing now is that why frontline performance, frontline happiness should be the CEO's table. Because they are the guys who are paying a salary. Who pays the salary of CEO? Only a frontline, salesman sells, the manufacturing guy produces, and somebody else distributes. And then all the middle guys are all eating from that pie only, right? Somehow we've lost focus, too much of excessive emphasis on leadership. See, when we did a study about frontline workforce compensation versus leadership compensation, we did a very elaborate study, 1999 to 2011. It's a 12-year period. The compensation of frontline workforce has actually declined, rate of inflation. And in the same period, compensation of middle level or supervisory level went up 2.5, 3 times. So what the companies have done, taken money out of labor or frontline and put it into the senior level. And then they get offended when senior level goes level somewhere else, right? When entry level goes is only a statistic. What is your attrition? 60%. That's all the compensation. They don't know who the guy is. Why is he leaving? Why is he not coming?
And they're leaving in bulk, but still nobody cares.
Exactly, because the CEO is not bothered. He's worried about leadership. Actually, leadership doesn't deliver anything. They're only coordinating. At the best, I would say, yes, they're coordinating. And if you have a self-driven organization, you don't need so many supervisors. Yeah, if you look at an organization like Indigo, most of them are frontline employees, right? Whether in the airport or the aircraft, everybody is self-driven, right? What supervision? Only the manpower planning, when you do, then you do material planning. This is not planning part, it's managing a job. I can understand. But execution is individual. So anyway, coming back to your point, yes, I think companies spending money on leadership development is a choice. It is only valid when companies have long-term commitment to stay. For example, in Mosul where I used to work, everybody retired from the company. So people invested. Today, nobody is going to stay in the company for long. And in fact, I have done a very interesting research a few years ago to find out the rules of the rat race. Rules of the rat race is basically to find out some actual resumes of top performers and study their career trajectory. And basically look at the resume, when where he went, where he studied, what job he did, which company he went. And one of the interesting finding was, and it's very interesting finding, most of the top people didn't stay in the same job for too long. Don't change their jobs. And there is something called average life expectancy of an employee, which is optimal. For example, for people who are in the non-IT sector, it's about 5 years to 7 years. After 7 years, 5 years, the employee takes the company for granted, or the company takes the employee for granted. So it's good to leave, right? In my opinion, if I have to tell you in the beginning, it's a 5-year contract, at the end of it, people are going to leave, then obviously your training investment will be aligned to an exit plan, right? So we claim a lot of training. Actually, corporate training on employees is very small compared to salary they pay. The annual salaries on an average range for a leadership position are anywhere between 5 crores, 6 crores, and 7 crores. The CXO level of 1 crore and 2 crore. But that kind of salary, 1 month salary itself, they don't spend so much money on training.
Yeah, they don't want to. Yeah.
Because they're not there. I think even that they should not spend. You should tell the guy, please spend money on your own pocket and learn. Why am I giving you all this? We are mollycoddled our employees in the senior level, I feel.
One more thing is these days, when the JDs are made, job descriptions are so elaborate of one position that it seems that you are hiring a god who would know everything, on that position. So, and this is creating mismatches. You are not getting people. Is this one of the reasons where the resume building and the job descriptions, they need to literally be seen from the perspective of what is the prime 3 skills that you need for a person, and you cannot just get all the skills which you are narrating. Do you think this also has an impact on the job market?
No, I think it's a very important point you made. So suppose you ask the question, why are we giving 3 people job rolled into one? I think in short, 3 people job gets rolled into one. If you were to look at 25 years ago, people used to do 3 people used to do the same job, different components of the job, and somebody used to aggregate them. The answer to that is, we are paying 3 people salary to 1 person now. A compensation structure, I did a study again some time ago. IIM Ahmedabad pass out. You take somebody in 1991, okay, and take the IIM Ahmedabad pass out now, and say 30 years later, and ratio of the compensation, you adjust the compensation for inflation, whatever it is. The current compensation is the same guy if it continued, and you compare the compensation of after inflation, the current guy has to be 3 times smarter than the old guy.
Yeah. It's a lot of expectation.
No, that's you already demanded the salary. You are going for salary. Obviously, you want 3 times the salary. What I would have been, I was one of the high schools in IIM. So my own salary was about joining 1,100 rupees a month. Right? That is my salary which you take home is that much. Of course, you adjust for inflation. Still, it's 3 times. And unfortunately, HR heads have all ganged up together to revise compensation of senior management disproportionately. And they are not able to do. Supposing I paying 6 crore salary, let's say you, the cost per minute is how much? What are you delivering? See, people are delivering below you, and you're only supervising. Then you should have that value. You should be able to create that value for people to see the value of 6 crores. So salary is the main reason. I think we have hiked up salaries because, and I'll tell you there's a big story behind it. Very people don't know this. Indian salaries are very reasonable till 1991. The first company which came to India in 1991 post liberalization was Pepsi and Coke. Coke went out, Pepsi came in. And they want to attract people from FMCG industry like levers. So they revised compensation upside down. And once the compensation race started, everybody started racing. One guy went ahead, another guy wants to retain employees, he raced ahead. Everybody hiked compensation disproportionately. And if you see many of the IIM Ahmedabad alumni, the people who joined, who passed out before 91, and who are now, the wealth of people who are passed out after 92, 93 is far higher than the wealth created by people who are 81 and below. Because salaries are disproportionate. So basically, your point is correct. People are expected to do 3 people's job, but they are asking for 3 people's salary. Obviously, you get that.
But maybe they have not asked, maybe the market is driven that way, and it is already the benchmark has been raised, and that is the reason. But for that matter, I mean, it is becoming more and more difficult to get the people because you have put a god in that JD, and now you are not able to get that person. One person who is very good at getting, let's say if a chartered accountant is expected that, okay, you will raise finance. Okay, at the other way around, you are saying that, okay, he should have independently handled the company for 10 years, handled this much status and so on and so forth. Now, if a person is very strong in one area and he's not strong in another area, he's not a match, and he's not been selected.
No, see, this is another interesting point you raised about job description. I think people don't know how to write job description.
That's exactly.
I'll tell you that. See, for example, the current definition of job description lists what all you're supposed to do. Right? Typically, we do something called role modeling. I take CFO's role. What all he does, you list what is called tasks, subtasks, activities, whatever he does. You get a list of maybe 150 things he's supposed to do in the job. If you have to ask, what are the top 10 tasks of his role? Where he spends 80% of his time on a daily basis. Right? And then said, I want to get somebody who can do that, the top 10 tasks very well. Your job description is making no sense. Otherwise, you're giving a laundry list of 25,000 things he's supposed to do. The second aspect is people learn on the job. They're not dumb guys. So if I get 80% of the task which he's supposed to do, there's 80% of the time what I'm going to do. If I'm able to get clarity on that, he will learn the rest of them. It's not so great about it. Correct. But what happens, people who write job descriptions, they do a laundry list accumulation. So they will ask the current incumbent, what all he thinks he should do. Then you ask his boss. Then you ask his colleague. Everybody writes a laundry list. And I'll give you one example of how stupidly we have done this. This is when the skill movement came. The skill was started by NSDC. They appointed one of the big consulting groups to write the knowledge, skills, and attitude. It's called KSA for each and every entry level role. Who were they doing? NSDC was asking this for entry level roles, right? So I was presenting in one conference. I presented the KSA list. And the KSA, the knowledge areas were about 32. Skill areas were some 40, 45. And attitudes, 25. I said, this is all he's supposed to have as per the so-called consulting company. Then I asked him, please guess what job role it is. And everybody said CEO, somebody said CXO. I said, no, it's a job role of something called a banking correspondent, who's the last mile in a bank, who goes and collects cash, put into the money and gives them the cash. Okay. And his salary is a princely sum of 5,000 rupees salary. And you wrote a laundry list of 93 items. You can't even assess them. And if somebody had all of them, why would he be a very stupid banking correspondent? So they gave it to a consultant. What the consultant did, they called a group of HR guys and then asked them, okay, what will you like to put? Everybody added. He never asked that question for the 5,000 rupees for the daily role that he does out of the so many tasks. Only 5 tasks he does on a daily basis. He has to collect money and put the money back. And if somebody wants to know something, he has to call somebody and connect them. That's all. So this is how job descriptions are written. And that's partly because people don't understand the concept of prioritization. The people have limited time in their life. And what can they do in a limited time? And therefore, when you write a job description, you should have done this, you should have done this, done this, done this. Not possible. You don't need for all of them in the job. Why do you need all of them in the job? Once I think I had a very interesting experience as a recruiter. Once some company called me and said, I want you to hire for us. I said, fine. So we went to a meeting. They gave me a laundry list of, hey, you should do this. And I said, how much? He said, chartered accountant. We gave a list and then how much are you willing to pay? We'll pay him about 50,000 rupees a month. I'm talking about 8-10 years ago. I said, first of all, if somebody wants to work for 50,000 rupees with that kind of skill set, something is wrong with him. And if that's a guy I find, I'll keep him myself. Why would I give you? Are you very dumb? Then write such a stupid list of things what you want to do, laundry list. And for the 50,000 rupees you're paying. So I think somewhere we have failed. I think leadership has failed to understand that what is the priority. When we write now, I'm started writing now the KRA KPIs, top 3, top 5. That's it. First write top 10 tasks he has to do. Top 10 tasks. We might have 1,000 tasks. Select the top 10 tasks. From the top 10 tasks, what will be the KRA KPI measurement? And then what will be the skills required? That's then it becomes narrow. Then salary also becomes more meaningful because you don't have to pay obnoxious. But unfortunately, compensation is determined by where he's coming from. If you hire somebody, and most of the time specifications are more specific. We don't need 10 years of experience. I keep saying many people do the same job for 5 years. So why would I take the same idiot for 5 years and do the same job? He's not improved his skill set. Actually, you hire somebody 5 years with all the whatever requisite skills are required, compared to 10 years doing the same skill set. Actually, you are 10 years liability because he's passing on the same thing. He's not learned anything in 5 years.
And your cost also will increase because of that.
Cost, yeah, the expectation of cost because you spent a specification of 10 years. So many often our job descriptions are not prioritized. Secondly, the experience profile is disproportionate. We don't need that.
So understanding exactly and accurately as to what is the top 10 things that a person should be really knowing, and what is it that it should not be based on just the budget, or it should not be based on just the experience and where the person is coming from, but it should be based relatively on what is that he's going to deliver.
Yeah, right. What he should do, where he should add value. See, some jobs like you're a finance, there's already accounting, already somebody who's doing treasury. So what this guy got to add value only is important. No? He doesn't have to go and set a system in the computer and do this. Then he's not a manager, right? You should know how a system works. I understand. But we don't write. I think we are very poor writers. We don't apply our mind into job descriptions and compensation match. We don't do. So we blindly write something. And then you look for somebody, you're disappointed. The other guy feels that you are looking for something big. He's asking for more money. You hire a white elephant. Then you start cursing yourself. I've got a big. See, many other people lose their job because they promise and they don't deliver. You mentioned it in the beginning. The promise happened because based on what you want to hear.
Very, very nicely articulated, and it is a conversation which I think I wish I could, continue like this, because there's so many insights, there's so many experiences, so many stories which your journey portrays, which you have lived it, and that is why it comes out so truthfully. One last question that I would have is, what is your one aspiration that this is something which is on my mind, and I would actually want to make a difference. And this is my aspired goal for the next coming years of my journey.
Yeah, I think it's a very good question because I do realize that I've done one innings, so I have to plan my second innings. And I prioritized what I want to do the next 15 years. Hopefully, I live till 80. So, one is to be clearly a lawyer. I finished my law school recently and I'm going to enroll into the bar. And I want to work for basically public interest litigation and pro bono litigation of people who cannot afford. And what domain I want to specialize is in taxpayers' problems. Today, the honest taxpayer is the most victimized entity in this country. He's the most stupid guy in the country. Everybody else is cheating. Black money is so high. Everybody is doing business on black money. He's the only sucker who pays money to government all the taxes. And in business also, businessmen like us, we pay our taxes. We don't want to take any shortcut to taxes. We pay everything. But you're the sucker in the system because you're one among the minority. So the law is also made more and more difficult for the honest taxpayer. Because by adding more and more laws, you're making it difficult for me to do business. Like GST is a good example. It's a complicated, stupid system. It is so complicated for a honest person to follow the GST law. But the guy is building the system will bribe all the people in the system and do a lot of black accounting. Black transactions are not there completely. So I think the tragedy is that the honest taxpayer is victimized in this country, and I want to work for them. That's one part. Second part is a project which I've been thinking for a long time. The largest, we talked about unemployment, right? And if you study deeper into the problem of school dropouts, we are having at this point of time anywhere between 100 million children who are school dropouts, 100 to 150 million children. These are the people who are dropped out for a variety of reasons. Girl child are significant in that. And some of them because they're not able to understand the class. Some of them can't afford. Some of them cannot walk to the school, which is far away. So, in my opinion, if we have to start correcting Indians' future, we should work on the school dropouts. Everybody talks about improving school education, but that is only if you're in the school. If you're not in the school, what school education will impact me? The 150 million people are outside the school system or not attending classes and just put their number and enrollment. They are going to be future citizens of this country.
Correct. And the quality of youth will deteriorate.
Yeah, undernourished. People talk about malnutrition, but these people are brain undernourished because they don't have any activity. They're doing a very menial jobs or trying to do something to survive. They're in survival mode. And how can India be a India being a forward country with so many significant percent of people who are at school and they miss out the entire system? So my second project is basically called About Digital School. We have done some homework on it. I need to raise about 15 or 20 crores of CSR money and put some money on my own and create this project called Udbhav Digital. So this project is all about how do you use the existing school system to create a franchisee model to train people for NIOS open school exam on digital learning by mobile phone. So a lot of work I've done some calculations, and I think we can build that model, but I'm still looking for a few companies to sign up. Like right now we're running two schools called Udbhav School in Hyderabad, which is from my alumni. But this is a very special project. Udbhav School is again helping people who want to go to school. Right? Privileged children. But what about children who can't go or who dropped out? So that is going to be second dream project. Still some time to go. And if it succeeds, at least we'll impact 1 billion children in some real time.
Wonderful. I think at this juncture also, you have such a thrill, such an enthusiasm. You know, you recently finished your law and now you already have in mind what you will do with that. It's not just about your fascination of learning, but how to apply those learning is what, really inspires me to continue this conversation. But we have, limited time, and I think we've been very fortunate to have you as a guest to learn so many things today in this conversation. Thank you so much, Murli, for being here and to share your views and to share your very, very transparent opinions about everything that needs a change here. And let's work together in in case I am of any need for anything that you are doing in your causes, count me in. That is what I can say. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.